Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for visiting the YouTube channel for bestbiblecommentaries.com. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the best Psalms commentaries. I'm going to share what the best introductory commentary on Psalms is, what the best mid-level commentary on Psalms is, and the best technical commentary on Psalms, all according to aggregate academic reviews. Before I do that, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Also, clicking the thumbs up button on my videos really helps me out on YouTube. If you found my channel because YouTube recommended one of my videos to you, part of the reason for that is because people before you had liked the videos. They'd push the thumbs up button, and that helps YouTube push out the videos to an audience that thinks would enjoy them. So that's why I ask for that. Also, as usual, feel free to leave a comment or ask a question below. One other additional thing that I'm going to do at the end of this video, I got a question recently. If you've seen videos on my channel, you know I like to talk about academic reviews and aggregate academic reviews. And so I thought I'd show an example of an academic journal, if anybody is interested in that. I've got some questions about it recently, so I thought, well, I'll just show one on video. So I'm going to do that at the end of the video. So if you're not interested in that, you can just leave the video after I'm done talking about the commentaries. So first, based on aggregate academic reviews, the best introductory commentary on the Book of Psalms is this 2-volume set by Derek Kidner. Now, it used to be part of the Tyndale Old Testament commentary series, but in recent years, the publisher has actually lifted this 2-volume set out of the series and replaced it with something new, something a little bit more fresh. So these 2 volumes were published in the mid-1970s, and so they've been lifted out of the series, and an Old Testament scholar named Tremper Logman has replaced the Psalms volumes in the TOTC series. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. And so some of the discussion on biblical scholarship is now a little bit more fresh for the TOTC series. However, the publisher does continue to print or publish Derek Kidner commentaries, and they're called the Kidner Classic Commentaries. And this is obviously the Jeremiah volume, but this is what the cover design looks like. So if you see Kidner Classic Commentaries, Psalms by Derek Kidner, you can know it's the same content as what you'll find in here. So there's other Kidner Classic Commentaries as well. I think Genesis, there's a few of them now. But you might, if you find these used, just know that there's like 3 or 4 different cover designs for the TOTC series, but the content is all the same for the Psalms volumes by Derek Kidner. There's no revision or anything like that. So if you find used copies and they're very affordable, I would just go ahead and get those. I have seen these exact volumes on listed for over $100 each, and my guess is that the seller thinks they're out of print. They're not out of print. Don't pay $100 for these. Just find a good used copy somewhere for $5 or $10. So this 2-volume set the first volume was published in 1973. The second volume was published in 1975. One of the benefits of this series, including the Kidner Classic version, is that the volumes are very affordable. You'll probably be spending $15 to $20 for a used book, as opposed to, some of the hardback commentaries that can be north of $50, $60, $70. The review I wanted to share is from the Presbyterian. And one of the things the reviewer says that this 2-volume commentary set is for the quote-unquote the Christian public. I don't usually use that term, the Christian public, but what he means by that is it's an introductory commentary. A person doesn't need to have read a lot in biblical reference material like commentaries to benefit from these volumes. If someone is a new believer, or someone's just new to studying the Bible in depth using a resource like this, these 2 books would be just fine. The reviewer says that the strengths of the commentary is Kidner's conservative theology, and that Kidner gives a good treatment to messianic passages. And he thought that these 2 volumes would be very useful to pastors, and Kidner makes frequent application suggestions. So those are the strengths. I will just add one thing to that Derek Kidner writes in such a way that he often offers what I would call devotional reflection. And if you're a teacher or preacher, you can quote him. That's how easy it is to understand what he's saying and how profound some of what he says is. You could quote him from the pulpit. Weaknesses. The reviewer did not like that Kidner used the RSV English translation and the NEB English translation. Again, these were published in the mid-1970s, so there wasn't as many options as there are today. The RSV, the NEB, I don't even remember what the NEB is. New English Bible, maybe? I don't even know a lot about that. So, but that was the only weaknesses according to the reviewer. One other review from JETS, the Journal for the Evangelical Theological Society, the reviewer said that this 2-volume set is elegant and eloquent, and it's an elegant and eloquent scholarly contribution that will be most welcome to preachers and students alike. I'll get those words out eventually. All right, the best mid-level commentary on the Book of Psalms based on aggregate academic reviews is the Gerald Wilson volume in the NIV Application Commentary series. Now, this book is a little bit faded, but usually has a yellow border around it, and this is one of the most popular commentary series today. This volume, volume 1, it only covers Psalms 1 through 72. There is a lot of depth to those 72 Psalms. This commentary is 1,024 pages. It was published in 2002. If you use Bible commentaries, you're probably familiar with these series. A lot of the people I know that use Bible commentaries have one of the NIV Application Commentary series on their shelf, or called the NIVAC for short, NIV Application Commentary, the NIVAC series. And now a lot of people wonder why Gerald Wilson, if he wrote, so this is considered one of the best reviewed volumes in the whole NIV Application Commentary series. So if it's so well reviewed, why didn't Gerald Wilson write the second volume? And the truth is that he passed away. So this volume was published in 2002. Gerald Wilson passed away in 2005. The Zondervan, the publisher, did finally publish volume 2 in this, and so now the Psalms is complete in the series, but volume 2 was published in 2018. So you can get that today. All right, so a review from Master Seminary Journal, which is the academic journal associated with the school that John MacArthur started. The reviewer says that every expositor of the Psalter should have this volume. This commentary has no equal. All others come up short in both quantity and quality of exegesis. Now, that is a good representative view on when I read academic reviews on this volume. So every expositor of the Psalter should have this volume. This commentary has no equal. All others come up short in both quantity and quality of exegesis. So it's really receives a lot of praise in the academic reviews. And if you're not familiar with this series, the authors give basic explanations of every text, and then what the application part means is they look to make the text relevant to life today. So it's very popular for teaching and preaching in the church, because one of the purposes of that is to make the text relevant and apply the text to life today. Now, what's the best reviewed mid-level commentary on Psalms that covers the entire book of Psalms? It's Psalms in the Expositor's Bible Commentary series. This cover design is the revised edition, and the author on this volume 5 is just the Psalms. So it's a pretty big book. And this one is the Psalms in this is written by William Van Gemeren. I think I'm saying that last name right. I had a pleasure of corresponding with him a few years ago about this commentary, and he was just very generous with his time in talking to me about his writing this commentary. So who is it for? It's mid-level, so pastors are really the intended audience. However, I think lay people who are just interested in studying the Psalms more would do fine with this volume. I think this is the revised edition I'm showing you. I think the layout in the revised edition is a little bit more reader friendly, but if you find a used copy for a good deal, and it's not the revised edition, you can go ahead and pick that up. I think that would be a good purchase. All right. The best technical commentary on the book of Psalms. Now, this is going to surprise a few of you because I have shown many Word Biblical Commentaries on my channel and talk about them on my website. And I describe it as a mid-level series. And generally, I think that's true, that this is the WBC series is a mid-level series. This particular volume, though, I would categorize as technical. Now, one of the things that's true about Psalms in the WBC series is that it's in 3 different volumes. This is just the first volume, and there's 3 different authors for those volumes. And my guess is at the time these were being published, this was published in 1983, they probably had 3 authors working on these volumes simultaneously rather than assign them to one author who would publish one at a time, and it would take a lot longer. That's my guess. This commentary is 502 pages long. As I said, it was published in 1983. There's a revised version that was published in 2006, but Craigie didn't have anything to do with that because he passed away in 1985. So perhaps he was scheduled to write more in this series, but he passed away. Okay, so this is a mid-level commentary series, but the commentary itself leans technical. And the WBC series, if you're familiar with it, enables that. So every WBC volume follows a similar template from passage to passage. The authors talk about the same topics in the same order in every WBC volume, and based on that template, if an author wanted to make the commentary more technical, he or she certainly could, and Craigie does that in this volume. One reviewer, Alec Motier, some of you would be familiar with him, his Psalms or his Isaiah commentaries. He says Craigie is at his best in sections on translation and textual annotation. That's where he's at his best. So again, that's a little bit, those are subjects that, of course, lean technical. So another reason why I'm putting this in the technical category. It's widely known, or Craigie was very well known for his expertise in Ugaritic language. And that's really where academic reviews praise this volume in relation to the Hebrew itself. It's the language and it's the exegesis of the original language is why this commentary volume gets really high praise. So if you're a pastor and you're not familiar with Hebrew, you're probably not going to be able to maximize this volume. You can still benefit from it, but you're just not going to, 100% of it probably is not going to be relevant to your purposes for using a commentary. So what are the weaknesses? According to academic reviews, the messianic passages, Craigie isn't really strong on the messianic passages. That was one of the strengths of the Kidner volumes, but not this particular volume. And there's not a lot of connection to the New Testament. Gerald Wilson makes more connections to the New Testament. Kidner makes more connections to the New Testament. Van Gemeren makes more connections to the New Testament. So if you're interested in a technical volume but still need some of those, you might need to pair this with something else to get those other topics. Also, I think this volume will probably be too critical for some conservatives. So again, it just comes back to what's your purpose for using a commentary. If you don't need a technical commentary, this probably isn't going to be your number one go-to option, but probably something else I've shown is. So again, there's a lot of great commentaries on Psalms out there. I invite you to visit the link I'll leave in the description box where I list the 10 best commentaries on Psalms based on academic reviews on my website. I'll put that link down below so you can see where these fall and see other options as well. And as always, I encourage people to use my videos as a starting point to finding the right commentary for their purposes. Now, I wanted to give an example of an academic review because I got some questions about that recently and where people can get academic reviews on their own. And the answer to that question is it's not easy. You might have to go to like a seminary library or something like that to access academic reviews digitally, or you have to be a member of certain academic societies where they send you publications. So it's not the easiest thing, but that's one of the reasons for my channel. I want to bring some of that information to people who are interested in Bible reference material. So you don't have to have a description. You just can watch my videos. Isn't that helpful? But I did want to show an example. So this is a journal from the Evangelical Theological Society. It's called JETS, Journal of the Evangelical Theological Society. And for members of this particular society, which, full disclosure, I'm a member of this society, they send you these journals 4 times a year. And so the table of contents, so this is what it looks like. The table of contents, it's printed right on the front, and so you can find the articles you're looking for. Now, mostly in an academic journal, you're going to find articles. So in this one, here's for example, a lot of people probably heard of this person, so I'll just use this as an example. Craig Keener writes an article titled "Greek versus Jewish Conceptions of Inspiration" and 2 Timothy 3:16, and that's a 16-page academic article. And there's maybe 10 or 12 different articles in this particular journal volume. And then we see book reviews. And so I love, that's the first thing I do, honestly, is I flip to the back and I see which book reviews they've covered. And this is where I read about different commentaries and what other academics think about them. So here's one I flipped to, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. And there's a review of that commentary. And so that's what I read to find out more information. But you can also access those digitally if you have a subscription like I do, or it's actually the university where I work has a subscription, so that's how I'm able to access it. Anyway, this is just an example of where the academic reviews that I talk about come from. So thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Having a great time interacting with everybody. And thank you for visiting bestbiblecommentaries.com.